Good morning and welcome to this special edition of our program. Today we are dedicating this edition to women in celebrating the International Women's Day. Of course, it was last week, but then we can still keep talking about women without getting exhausted. And the theme of this year's International Women's Day was Inspire Inclusion. You know, that's a call for action to break barriers, challenge stereotypes, and create environment where all women are valued and respected. So I'm going to stress that word, valued and respected. You're welcome to the program. I am Jumoke Michaels. And this morning to talk about women issues is someone who is very apt because she's a woman activist and she's always very particular about things that has to do with women. And she's also a role model when it comes to encouraging women. So many women look up to her and she has been playing her part very well as far as I know. I have with me in the studio today, of course, a woman, a philanthropist, a people's person, a politician. You're welcome, Honorable Fatima Mohammed. We'll get to know more about her as we continue.
Thank you so very much for having me. Good morning.
You're welcome. I'm so happy that I'm having this conversation with you this morning.
Okay.
Because I know when it comes to issues of women, you are very passionate.
Oh, yes, I am very passionate.
And you are a trailblazer.
Very gender sensitive, very gender biased.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I can see you are in purple. You are continuing the
continuing the color code for the color thing for International Women's Day.
So because purple, that was the color, signifies justice and dignity. You're welcome again.
Thank you very much.
All right, so when we talk about inclusion, how can we inspire inclusion with women?
There's so many things to do. I tell people that the first thing to do is to ensure that we're giving the women enabling environment. And for women who are, in the rural areas, it is time for us to begin to speak to them, teach them how to assert themselves, teach them what their rights are, without using this our clamor for gender inclusion as a form of we're trying to break loose from everything that has tied us down. No, I tell women every time, I said, women, you are more than enough. Nothing has held us bound. The only thing that has held us bound has been our mentality. So you must create an enabling environment where you can interact with the women so they know who they are. There are some women who do not even know who they are. Sometimes they seek,
self-discovery, right?
Yes, they seek for validation from other people. So it is for us to speak to the women first and foremost, tell them who they are. Let them be assertive. Let them know where to, set the boundaries. Let them know by themselves that they complement anybody at any point in time. So for me, that's the very first thing to do. Create awareness and enabling environment for women who see themselves as not enough. So it's to build up their psychic for them to know exactly who they are. I tell people all the time, I said, there's nobody as great as a woman. Only one woman can do 15, 20 things at the same time. We multitask perfectly. And this is a very major strength. So I usually don't like to talk about gender equality. I love to use the word equity. Equity is just. Equity is balanced. All we're saying is put us on the same pedestal with the men and watch us sprout. Watch us add value to whatever we touch. So it still boils down to telling the women who they are.
I think you are saying a lot. You keep mentioning the word enabling environment.
Yes, enabling environment.
Okay, so what is this enabling environment that will empower women to speak up?
The first thing that I see as an environment that would enable women is to ensure that we're breaking barriers. How do we break barriers? In this part of the world where we live in, we have a lot of barriers that we need to break.
So many.
Spiritual barriers. We have the traditional barriers. We have the social barriers that we have to break. So, like I am from the north. In the north, women are heard, not seen. Sometimes they are seen, not heard. They haven't put us, but things are better now. You have ministers who are women. You have DGs of parastatals who are women, and they're speaking, lending their voices. You have women who are turning things around. So the enabling environment I'm talking about is any woman who feels, oh, I am empowered enough to be able to speak. It could just be a rural community. It could be somewhere. Every time you have an opportunity to speak, speak to the women. Let them be self-sufficient. Let them know that, oh, this is the sort of value that I have. This is the sort of strength, that I
So
take.
let's come to you, because this enabling environment you're talking about is very, very essential.
How
How were you able to create an enabling environment for your voice?
Okay,
and was that environment created for you?
The thing is, I tell people that, and this is what my father says, the president, he says that power is not served a la carte. What it means is that sometimes you grab it, you set a goal for yourself, and then you go all out and grab it. For somebody like me, I'm going to be using Fatima. I hate every form of discrimination against women. I cannot stand you bully a woman. I cannot sit back and have you talk down on a woman. So I have had that mentality from very young about, you can't just talk to a woman anyhow. We're delicate. We're the weaker sex in the sense of it. But hey, we're the sex that has the highest of strength. So one day I was driving past my mother's house, and then I saw they had like a political gathering, and first and foremost all the women were sitting behind, all the men in front. A woman raised up her hand to speak, and she was shut down. I said, keep quiet, the leaders are still talking. So I parked and I came to the meeting and sat and asked questions. Please, what is this meeting about? And they told me, oh, this is what it is about. But here there's hierarchy. You can talk. The men are the leaders. They give instructions. You just follow. And so I realized that the women were limited to just singing choruses behind these people, not really having a voice. The only time they're even permitted to speak is if one leader peradventure likes them and probably wants to sleep with them, using their body as gratification for what is rightfully theirs. So that's how it has worked. So I said, oh, so what is this meeting? They said, so next meeting I came and I sat in front. And the people said, why are you sitting here? Where did you go? And I said, I am more educated than all of you. I have more knowledge. I can speak. I can ask for things that you people have not been able to ask. And I'm talking about the Agbele Kale. That road then was cut into two. It was really bad. Hey, and after that elections of 2003, I was able to insist that, please, we want this road fixed. And today the road is more or less like an express road. So it is about you asserting yourself, you ensuring that by yourself, nobody can talk me down. And it's not every woman who has the streets. For me, I saw Fatima will speak above a whisper. Some other women are so timid. They have been through a lot of things, probably while growing up, cultural, traditional, like I've said, So those women, you get very close to them and you teach them to speak above whispers as well. So it is, the onus is on one woman, keep teaching, let the circle keep going. And we all get empowered. And they keep growing.
Okay. So in talking about inclusion, where is the place of values in being, inclusivity?
Yes. Yeah. For me, the place of value is, I tell women all the time that, like I said earlier, nobody is going to serve power a la carte. But you know what is embedded on the inside of you. You know the values that you believe in. You know the values that you hold dear. You know the values that the world expects you to have, as a woman especially. So I don't like to say that I like to use my strength as a tool, as a tool to take. But there are women who do not know how to do this. For me, I tell people all the time that they say, oh, there's a general notion of women politicians, they sleep around. You cut away from that niche. You say, this is what is expected of you. But as a woman, this is what you should do. People talk about the virtuous woman. It takes a lot of work. The general price is far above rubies. It takes a lot of work for your price to be far above rubies. I look at the Okonjo-Iwealas of this world, and every time I talk about her, there's a smile on my face. She didn't have to sleep her way to the top. She knew what she had embedded on the inside of her. So for her, she kept looking for an opportunity to give what she had, the value. So you'll find out that every government wanted to be associated with her because she had values that they wanted. So for every woman, build yourself up to such a level that you're an essential commodity. everybody wants to have you because of what you represent, because of the values that that you're seen with. You find, and like I say, that this thing is us working it out. For those who think that they're already, I don't even think I'm there already. I'm still work in progress. But at least I have been able to scream above whisper. So it is me telling another woman, in time past, you won't find women, they dress so irresponsibly. And then you find their mothers looking at them. And sometimes you find their mothers applauding what they wear. I get so uncomfortable if I wear anything as much as, oh, this thing is exposing my body. Last week I was going to go for a function. I just, made the dress. I didn't even fit it. By the time I was wearing it, I realized that, oh, my whole body was bare. I said I wasn't going to go for that event until they got me a scarf. So I had to, cover my body up. These are things that you're known with. There's somebody say, Akisa Luma walk you. And then they don't look at you as, it doesn't matter what you have on the inside of you. Your appearance, people address you the way you're dressed. People look at you and your value is based on, what you represent. So appearance, yes, might be mistaken sometimes. People might be very good, but want to conform to the norms of this world dressing. But hey, nobody would know what is embedded on the inside of you first by sitting with you to converse. No, it's first by seeing you.
Yeah.
Okay, I see this person looks responsible. So let me talk.
Responsibly.
Let me talk. So when you talk, they find out the stuff that you're made up of. And then they keep, you're endearing yourself to them by the sort of, the traits that you exhibit. I don't want to say value because that's so women have to ensure that they make themselves so, you must be so strong by yourself. You must be so, no one can devalue you. You must ensure that.
We're in a time where, okay, look at the economy. We have a huge economic problem.
Yes.
Families are hardly able to feed.
Yes.
Women are going out of their way to ensure that the family is going on fine. Do you know that right now we have many more women who are sex workers? I'm even talking about the married women now. So there's this notion, out there that women are very promiscuous. Women can't put themselves together. Everything, their mindset is about, if you don't sleep with a man, you can't get things done.
That's very sad.
Society
it is very sad. But you see, that's not limited to Nigeria.
Yes.
I mean, this is practically all over the world.
Yes.
But I say all the time that a woman that has known her value from day one.
It comes back to values.
It comes back to values. From day one, we can't all endeavor that we're living just by our limits. You're not going overboard. And that's why I say all the time, women must have multiple streams of income. You cannot say, oh, I am a hairdresser. This last International Women's Day, I trained people who already had a skill. And I said, well, we can't continue to do come and learn how to braid hair. Oh, come and learn how to do makeup. These things, as far as I'm concerned, there's a lot of proliferations. A lot of people do it. Yeah. So I said, embellishing the dress is something that is new. It brings a lot of money. So we did embellishment, taught them how to stone, how to bead and all of that. And this morning as I was coming in, a video dropped on my phone. One young lady had done bras. She had embellished bras to sell. People in this part of the world always like the easy way out. They do not know that there's dignity in labor. They don't want to crawl. Yeah. They just want to stand and run. They don't even want to sit.
I like that word. They don't want to crawl.
This world is going through a period of recession. It's not just limited to Nigeria.
Yeah.
The things that they used to buy abroad for $2 is now $6. So there's inflation everywhere. It is us living not above our means. It is us living just by our limits. The essential things. Oh, food is expensive. It is now readjusting your family to knowing that we do not have this excess like we used to have, allowing food, to spoil and all of that. It is us speaking to ourselves again. That's why I keep saying it. It is about values. It is about yourself. There's nothing wrong. I mean, you're working here, Tomorrow you can decide to do other things.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're doing
I
two,
do
three
other
businesses.
things. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So the moment we teach ourselves to know the value that we have and our strength as a woman, the better for us.
All right, so as a politician, do you encourage more women participation? And then how do they get
The funding.
the funding and, so much, being able to penetrate
It's
into the
difficult.
parties? Yeah.
Yes, as a politician, the first thing I do is I create awareness, speak to these women about what they have and what they can give. I speak to them about how to stop complaining, how government is being run, and to endeavor to get involved. Lend your voice, get involved. Tell them, well, this thing that you're doing, I don't think that is the right way to do it. And then be suggestive. Why don't you think we should do it this way? And let us see the effects. And everybody knows that women generally have a magic wand everywhere that they go. So, funding, we have talked severally about that. Unfortunately, you go to female executives, they would rather sponsor the men than you. Sad. That's why every time we say women supporting, how many women actually support women?
We are not working
Not
the
a
talk,
lot.
right?
We're not working the talk at all. I mean, talk is cheap. We just say it.
Yeah.
You approach banks, and the banks don't even see the perspective in you. They just look at it and say, this one will just not. They do not believe in you. So it takes you to a point where you have to start doing things on your own that will endear you into the hearts of the electorate. Have it at the back of your mind that no matter who is sponsoring you, you can never have as much money as the men when it comes to politicking. These men don't have the make of kindness flowing through them. So they don't do things all the time. For them, it is, okay, it's time for elections, let me buy their consciences. It boils down to creating awareness, speaking to the women so they know. I'm glad that now in this part of the world, you find politicians will come back and the women would first and foremost fling the things that they brought back at them. But take your rubbish and go away. We're getting there. We're getting to the era where it is only those who truly know what governance is, those who truly aspire that governance must be to the electorate and the downtrodden. These will be the only sort of people that would get elected. We're getting there. It's just, now we still have people who can help people manipulate and all of that. So it is about women rising, putting your hands together, speaking for other women I've contested elections twice, and I have had women say, she's too proud. Who does she think she is? People should not vote for her, go and vote for the men. Because I'm outspoken, so I am misrepresented. They do not like women who show strength. I have men who cannot stomach me. My only offense is that she will talk. I can't use my body as gratification for anything. Never. Because I know who I am. I know what I represent. So why should I use my body to thank you for what is rightfully mine? That's not going to work. So the men are afraid. They're intimidated. The women have a lot of jealousy and anger. But still, you thrive. It's about talking to yourself and talking to women of like minds and speaking to women whose mentalities have been bruised. Erasing that off their minds and ensuring that we bring them back into the limelight and cause them to speak. And I love what the youths are doing. Female youths are standing up and they're speaking above whispers.
Their generation.
Yes.
They're
so
leaving
the
our
Gen
generation.
Z, they're leaving us.
They're leaving us behind.
They have left us.
All right,
practically.
so even as much as they are Gen Z and they are coming out,
Yes.
do you think older women are good role models for these Gen Zs? Older women, are we doing enough?
We have
to
some.
impact them?
We have some older women who are actually role models. We have older women who have brought us a lot of shame as women. They put you in a position, and the first thing you're thinking about as a woman is to embezzle funds. I mean, why this? It is greed that is making you embezzle so much funds that your entire generation will not even be able to use. It is so sad that we want to be everything at the same time and we're not considering the poor. I keep telling people that governance is service.
Yeah.
It is service. It is not you liking the time they call you or not. When they call you, you're not doing them a favor. They put you there to speak for them. They put you there to make their lives better. So you must look for something that will give them better leases of life. So, because politicians now, they barely pick their phones. The only time you get politicians is, when they want to vie for election, they're talking to you, they are doing. Immediately after elections, their phones are no longer going through. You have to break the bureaucracy of different PAs to get to them. In time past, our foolishness has, eaten through every 4 years. But it's getting better now. Now they are daring to call your bluffs. They are daring to speak to you. Even the Gen Zs themselves are liberated. The internet is a global village.
Yeah.
They read a lot, they know their rights. So now they demand for it. They don't even beg for it anymore. That's when you can find that a governor goes to a place to address the youth, and the youths are looking at him eyeball to eyeball, and they're talking. They don't care how many security he has. Because when he came to meet them, he didn't have the security. So they couldn't be bothered. They are bold by themselves, they're speaking. And, I pray that we have more women who can stand, behind them as very strong backbone and nudge them on to keep going and take away the mentality. Because this Gen Z that we're talking about, they too are very, very, very worldly. Or they love to drive the Mercedes-Benz and the G-Wagon. So it's for you to tell them, in as much as you're fighting to get there, fight to get there for the downtrodden, who can barely live on less than $1 per day. So they know.
All right. So let's bring this talk down to the family, because they say charity begins from home.
From home, yes.
And we can't exclude that the role of the woman in
any home,
whether it's high class, whether it's middle class or low class, the role of the woman cannot be overemphasized.
Yes.
So in today's world, the role of the woman, how much inclusion should she have or continue to have in the family?
I'm glad that a lot of families now know better. We have a lot of counselors, we have a lot of life coaches who have been able to break the formal norm of saying, I'm the head of this home. I give the instructions, you just listen. Now women would listen to you. And then when you finish ranting and raving, they come back very nicely and tell you, Mr. Head of this home, that thing that you said, it will not work. But what gives women voices, mostly, is value. What are you bringing to the table? A wife of no impact is a wife of no value. A man will not tell you, shut up, if he's bringing 60 and you're bringing 40,000. He cannot dare to lose that 40,000. Have value. We have gone past the era where a man says, stay at home and take care of the children. There are other things you can do as a stay-at-home mom. So the most important thing for a woman, first and foremost, is value. Make sure you have impact in your home. You don't always let the man come in and say that, you've changed something in the living room. It gives him a sense of pride. He's proud of you. And it endears him to you. I know women who are very comfortable, who cannot. I used to have a friend, and that particularly broke us up. Her child didn't go to school, and I said, school system, why doesn't child? You know what she said? She said, their father has not paid their school fees. I almost passed out. I said, but you have the money. She said, me? I can never help him pay. I said, okay.
For your child's school fees?
I said, who gave birth to this? She said, me. I said, but you're doing yourself. Don't catch up with their mates. They begin to have low self-esteem. And they'll turn it back to you eventually. Because they can see that you have the money.
Yeah.
And you're not supporting their father. So I'm speaking to every woman who has what it takes to support their husbands. Support for your children's sake. Yes, no matter what this man does, just put them aside. Support for your children's sake. That's important. And that's key. Ensure that you're a wife of a lot of impact. You're a wife who a husband can come back to. That, don't worry, if I speak to my wife about it, she probably will have ideas that I can use. So inclusion in the home is basically about you. It falls back to your lap. Nobody is going to give you an opportunity to stand shoulder to shoulder with the man. Nobody's even asking you to do that. But it is what you bring to the table that would speak for you. Women be empowered, no matter how small. Your husband is paying fees, buy the uniforms and do all the basic things. You cannot totally leave everything to the man to do and tell me that you want to be valued in the home. No, it's not going to work like that. So the first place of inclusion is you changing your mentality. Put this your strength to more harder work. And hey, add value. Your impact in the home will place you in a position of inclusion.
All right, so when we talk about skills development, because I know you said something about
Yes, I just
having
finished.
an empowerment
Yes.
just recently. Talking about skills development, how would you advise women to go about it?
Yes, I know that it's quite expensive now. Like the stoning and embellishment that I did, if you were to go and it was free. All my classes were free. I had women make shoes. I had women do multi-purpose soap. I had women do curry, ginger, and all of that. If you're going to learn these things, as it could be 30, 40,000 to learn. Some people say you can learn on the internet, but I believe in practicality. I believe in using what they're doing, and it's just take advantage of people who are giving these classes for free. People who are saying, I want your life to be better. People who are saying, I want you as a woman to stand. I told the women that day, I said, you know the reason why I go out and pay for the instructors to come and teach you is because I want you to stand and be respected in your home. I want you to stand and be valued in your home. Nobody is going to validate you. Nobody is going to value you except you value yourself first. It is what you bring. The only reason why a woman fights a man all the time about committing adultery and sleeping outside is because they are not busy. When a man says that you're not even bothering what he's doing with his life, he begins to run back home and he's afraid that is somebody else making this woman happy. Get valued by yourself. We ask for inclusion, we ask for gender, we want to be included, we want to do things that would endear you to anyone, anywhere you are, to ensure that you're included. You must do these things.
So even if one wants to learn skills now as for a woman,
Yes.
you were saying something that doing makeup is already proliferated. And
Yes,
all that.
a lot of people, like,
Can
you
you
have a
give
lot
us
of-
some ideas of what they can
I just
do
told
now
you
that will be very, very valuable?
What is
and
valuable right now
marketable?
is stoning and embellishment. Stoning and embellishment, because the way a lot of bras that are now being stoned with pearls, they have a lot of bags, that they are doing now. I mean, I would give you a clip of what happened that day. They are doing sandals. They are doing slippers, all made in Nigeria, well made. One of the slippers they did that gave me since last year, I'm still wearing it. So what am I saying in essence? Things like stoning, embellishment, frontal installment, these are the things I taught them. Frontal installment, you get out, you're installing frontal on a daily basis, you're doing 20,000. 20,000 is a lot of money. If you get to do about 3 every week, that's 60,000 naira. That 60,000 naira will at least feed your home for 2 weeks. It would. So you find out that when you do even these petty skills that you have learned, you are able to. I have people who sustain their families because their husbands lost their jobs by all of these skills that they do. You can do throw pillows, embellish it. You can do like the caps people wear to church, the berets. You can embellish it, so many things.
All right, so
So stoning embellishment.
enough word for the wise. All right, so what would be your last word of advice to women?
My last word of advice
Even the men.
My last word of advice to the women first is, let the value come forth from you. No one is going to include you or fight for you or give you a space to speak. Ensure that the value that emanates from on the inside of you is screaming far above whispers. For the men, please love us, support us, so that we can bloom and become the very best version of support that you would ever think about.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming this morning, for lending your voice to inspire inclusion in women. We can't stop talking about this.
No, we can't.
It's
It's something
just a
we're going to
continuous
talk about
discussion.
next year again.
Yeah. And I also wish you all the best
Thank you very
in
much,
your
ma'am.
endeavors.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, so that's it on the program. But before we leave, we're going to be showing you another aspect of what the governor of Lagos State is doing His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and from there we'll call it a day on the program. So please enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you again next week on the program. I am Jumoke Michaels. Bye-bye. Recently, the Commissioner of Environment in Lagos State, Honorable Tokunbo Wahab, declared that crossing the highways in Lagos State had become an offense. He added that officials of the Lagos Environmental Services, popularly referred to as KAI, and other agencies of the government had been mandated to arrest anyone violating the law. According to the Honorable Commissioner, the government had invested so much in the provision of infrastructure to raise the crossing of the highways by the residents, and that it was suicidal for some residents to choose to risk their lives running across the highways. He therefore advised the residents of the state to make use of the pedestrian bridges that had been provided by the government. Prior to this directive, it will be observed in various parts of the state that it had become a norm for residents to cross the highway at the utmost risk of their lives, despite the threats of successive governments to prosecute the offenders. Following the directive, it would appear that the directive had recorded major success, as an overwhelming number of residents had begun to comply with the